We had this project where you had to make a lifestyle change that would be better for the environment for the whole semester, and just track the impacts and track your daily life and see how it impacted you personally. And so some people took shorter showers or didn't get water bottles when they were out places, like plastic bottles. And so I had already had a couple friends that were vegetarian, so I was like, oh, well, I'll just do that. I can join them. There's plenty of food in the dining halls. Like there were lots of options. So I was like, no worries, I can do this. And after the semester ended, I was like, oh, I really like how I feel. I really like how I'm feeling about the environment, and I just feel like I'm making a difference. So I just continued on with it. My name is Emily Loftis, and this is my advice. Throughout all of my, elementary ed, school, everything like that, I was very heavily interested into math and science. So I knew engineering was something that I was wanting to pursue, but I didn't know what specific type. And then my senior year of high school, I took an AP environmental science class. And then we did so much hands-on learning, and you just saw the impact that you had in your community while learning about the environment and the things that you can do to help. So that was sort of what sparked my interest. And then I found that Michigan State has an environmental engineering program to specifically learn about that stewardship moving forward. So that's how I got interested in my major in general. And then throughout my time at school, I did quite a few internships and co-ops. And I took a co-op working at DTE Energy, which is a utility in Michigan. And so I was on our generation optimization group, where I got to help figure out the best ways that we could generate energy and work with renewables. And so that was kind of what got my interest in energy, was bridging the gap between the environment and energy usage with renewables. I had found my internship at Sheetz for the following summer, and that was definitely very energy and environmental focused. And then at the end of my internship, I had asked questions about our sustainability, because we had initiatives, but not a real program yet. And so my manager kept me on part-time during my last semester of school to do research and figure out what Sheetz could do to be better environmental stewards. And then they offered me a full-time role once I graduated. So I moved to Pennsylvania in January, and I started my full-time position as an energy engineer for our energy management department. I think that energy is sort of the new up-and-coming place to be for environmental, in the sense that we are currently now in the transition from coal-burning power plants to things that are better for the environment, like wind, solar, hydro, other renewables like that. I was brought on to bring our sustainability program to life at Sheetz, which brings together things that I'm passionate about and things that I'm interested in work-wise, like learning more about energy and how we can conserve what we do. So I typically look at energy at a large company scale level, but we have been trying to bring programs into our corporate facilities, which brings it down to a personal level, which is kind of what I'm here to talk about today, is how people can bring those energy efficiency motives and environmental stewardship into their home life. Most of the times, being environmentally friendly is also cost savings for individuals in their homes, especially if people, go to work for those 8 hours a day. You're not going to be at home, so you're not going to need your Keurig plugged in or things like that. So it's just easy ways that help conserve energy in your home that people can do. I personally am a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat at all, like red meat or anything. A lot of places in the grocery stores where you buy meat, it's from centralized cattle farms, specifically red meat, and the way that they have centralized cattle farms, they're very methane intensive because there are so many cows in such a small area. It is very bad for the emissions in that area, and then how far your food has to travel. So all that meat is in essentially like the central strip of the United States. So as it's being shipped out to all these stores, you not only have the intensity of the miles that it travels, but all of that meat in one area really impacts the carbon emissions in those states. The statistic is if you cut red meat out of your diet, you reduce your personal carbon footprint by 25%. And I think some people think, oh, I could never be a vegetarian because I could never not eat meat ever. But it's always about putting that effort into being environmentally friendly and being it in the most imperfect way. I try not to eat a whole lot of dairy. I try not to buy it like at home. I'll buy like almond milk or dairy-free cheese. But you know, again, about being imperfectly perfect. If I go out to a restaurant, like I'm going to get a piece of cheese pizza. Like I'm going to get those things and enjoy time with my friends and people out. I was vegan for a little bit, and it was just so hard to feel like there was no options for me at a restaurant besides a salad. You know what I mean? It was like I just want to enjoy my time with my friends and not have to worry about, can I go to this restaurant? Is there something on this menu for me? So it's again taking those steps and figuring out what you're comfortable doing in your life, trying things out. If you don't like it, you know, you can always go back to how things were before, but at least you put that effort in to try new things and to try to be your best self for the environment. I know it's kind of commonplace, turn lights off when you're not in a room, unplug things when you're not using them, but that truly does make an impact. I can see it in my utility bill for sure over time, so I know that that's something. It helps to keep power going to the grid where it needs to be rather than to you, and that helps with overall generation in terms of the emissions that each utility has. So if you reduce your use, then the utility in turn reduces their emissions, which helps everything overall. You can also, along with energy, water and natural gas are also some easy ways to reduce not only your utility bill and save money, but helps, you know, with the environment, conserve water. If you're boiling a pot of pasta and you don't necessarily have to dump the water down the drain, you can save it and use it to water plants later, or things like that. There are ways to easily conserve what you're using and make sure that everyone has enough resources. If you're going to be gone for the weekend or for an extended amount of time, definitely turn everything off, unplug it if you can, because even if you're not utilizing the energy in that device, even if I have my toaster plugged in but I'm not toasting anything, you're actively using energy just by being plugged in. In our modern world, everyone has enough capability to do that, but it's being conscious of the things that are most helpful to the environment around you. So I know for a long time people have said reduce, reuse, recycle, and I know that's a pretty big thing, but it does come with the fact that some areas don't have accessibility to recycling. So in like your personal life, I definitely try to promote reuse of things. So if you have a glass jar that you had salsa in, you don't necessarily have to throw it away if you don't have recycling. You can use it to hold nails in your garage, or use other, especially glass objects, in other parts of life. I'm a big fan of once I finish a candle, I'll use the jar for bobby pins or cotton balls or something, because they're typically pretty cute little jars you can get them in. So you have those options to be able to use other things in your life to help reduce the amount of waste that you're putting out. A common misconception that some people have about sustainability is that it is too time intensive, or that it costs too much to use these sustainable products. When in reality, it all depends on the sort of mindset that you have when you go in approaching these new projects and things in your house. Reusable plastic bags cost so much more than a Ziploc bag, but having that investment, you'll never have to buy another pack of Ziploc bags again. LED light bulbs, like some may cost more upfront, but over the lifetime of them, you save so much more on your electric bill when you install them that it more than covers the initial input into that cost. So another thing that you can do in your house to help be more environmentally friendly is to change your thermostat, whether that be just changing the temperature up 1 degree so that you're cooling less or heating less. It's really a change that you're not necessarily going to feel, but it'll definitely have an impact on your utility bill as well as your energy intensity. And if you have the means to, they have smart thermostats now where you can set through an app. I'm going to be gone during work, these days, and I'll be back at 4. So it'll turn off your AC during the day or your heating, and then turn it back on and get it right to the temperature that you want when you're going to be home. Most people have a car, nowadays, and a lot of them are gas powered. While electric vehicles are starting to trend upwards, I know it's still a new territory, and people are a bit more hesitant to sort of jump right into that. The government actually just passed a bill that is going to require there be electric vehicle charging stations every 50 miles along every alt fuel corridor. So that helps people feel a little bit better about getting an electric vehicle, knowing that every 50 miles, if you're on these main roads, you will be able to charge, because I know that's a big concern. It's called range anxiety of, if you go on a long trip, where am I going to charge at? Feeling anxious about where you're driving. Do I have enough miles to get there? Being able to bridge that gap and have these charging stations come up in the next 3 to 5 years is a great way to sort of feel better about EV. So I hope that after everyone watches this, they are more conscious of their energy usage and intensity, and the ways that they impact the environment, and just always have that in mind when you're utilizing things around your house and the things that you do. Because like I had mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter if it's a big change or a small change. Just putting that effort towards being more conscious of your energy and your environment really make an impact overall.
If we